Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Srini here, and today we're going to learn a very new topic, that is Cypress automation using JavaScript programming language. So this is one of the popular automation tools going on around in the market, and you would be definitely eager to learn this tool. I'm pretty much sure about that. We have already learned Selenium with Java in our previous tutorials, right? Now today it's time to get started with another automation tool, which is Cypress. Very, very popular these days. So let's get started with today's topic. But before we get started, if you're new to this channel, I would strongly recommend to go ahead and subscribe to it. I make sure to create a lot of useful content for all of you all. So please do consider subscribing and do check out my other two new YouTube channels as well. So let's get started. So we have Cypress Automation Tool. So this is the introduction slide which I have for you all. So it's like an open source automation tool. Okay. And many of the features of the Cypress tool are open source. There are certain paid features, but whatever you require for your automation of your front end applications like web browsers, you would be pretty much be able to use using the free version of Cypress as well. Okay. Now, what is the important thing which we need to understand about Cypress? I'll just let you all know. Okay. So Cypress helps us to execute the test scripts at the browser level. So this is the major difference between it and if we compare across the other tools like Selenium, right? In Selenium, what happens is that the automation has been done with the driver, okay? Because for every particular browser, there is a driver, okay? So what happens is user gives certain commands. It doesn't directly go to the browser. It goes via a driver. And due to which performance wise, if you compare Cypress and Selenium, Cypress is more faster because your browser is getting directly the commands from the user. So it will be able to directly interact with the user and then do the action accordingly. But in Selenium, it happens from the browser, the response goes to the driver, and the driver gives it back to the user. So there is a overlay there, right? There is a delay there, because of which Cypress is more faster. Cypress tool can also be used to automate different types of test cases. You can consider unit test cases, integration test cases, end-to-end test cases, right? So Cypress is more popular in terms of these three different varieties of test cases. But there is a thing about Cypress that it supports only JavaScript programming language. It doesn't support Java, Python, or any other. It supports only JavaScript. Okay, so that is a major one of the drawback which I will be covering in another slide. But comparing the need of the customer, right? If they, in case they are saying for sure that they are going to use only JavaScript, there is no future possibility of moving to Python or any other language, then you may consider Cypress as one of the preferred automation tool. What are the browsers supported by Python? It supports Electron, Chrome. There is one more tool, one more browser called Chromium as well. I'll include that. And Firefox. It doesn't support IE and Safari. Okay. So that is the different browsers which are supported by Cypress. Now let's talk about the features of Cypress, and we will look at those in detail as we come across all the different videos in our new Cypress automation playlist. Okay, so it helps to give a dashboard of all the different test cases in a single view. So I will show that shortly when we have our next session. So you can see how easy it is to have all the test cases in your left hand side navigation panel, and you can understand in each test case in detail as to what has happened, and all of the test cases would be summarized in a one particular view. Now, not only that, what happens with Cypress is that when your execution is going on, you can look at your logs, screenshots, everything automatically. So there is a feature that you can automatically let the browser get scrolled on its own. Okay. And you can see the execution happening literally at every step. And for each step, it captures the screenshots, it captures the logs, and everything is done automatically. It's a part of their architecture. So you don't have to do anything from your side. And it also has a very useful feature. I really like this feature, is that for every step, they have a before and after screenshot. So let's say a user is trying to enter something on a text box. Okay. So you would want to know that before the user has entered something on the text box, does it really have any content? Like example, is it trying to override the new value on top of an existing value, or is it was it blank? You want to verify that. So you can click on the before tab and it will show you the screenshot. Similarly, after you have typed, you can click on the after and it will show you what is happening after this particular event has happened, right? So this is very useful feature which only Cypress tool is giving. They have a detailed stack trace for any particular error which happens at any of the step inside the test case. It allows it to be tested in multiple browsers, which we have already seen in the previous slide. it doesn't require for the user to give any explicit wait. Like in case of Selenium, we have implicit wait, we have fluent wait, we have explicit wait, right? But this is using JavaScript. As we know, JavaScript is asynchronous, right? So it basically requires the promise to be resolved at runtime. But still, they have taken care that in their architecture, that they have taken care that most of the time you don't have to give any kind of a wait. Still, it provides an extra function where user can use one of its inbuilt function like cy.wait, which you can use to give a wait if required as per the situation. Let's say a element is taking some time, okay, and you know that there is a, even though the page is loaded, there is some ajax call or some dynamic loading which is happening, but still one particular element may, we may need to wait for certain seconds for it to appear. So that kind of a wait also we can configure using Cypress explicitly. Then it can be also integrated with other CI/CD tools like Jenkins. So we are going to see that later on how that integration can happen. Then in case, let's say you are working on certain test cases, which we call specifications as per the JavaScript type of terminology, that is the Mocha framework, we call it specification file. So if any changes happen to your specification file, right, what generally we need to do in other automation tools, we, once we do our changes, we save them, and then we go ahead and then we run the automation suite. But in Cypress, what happens is Cypress kicks off the execution automatically without the user requiring to trigger the automation execution. Okay, so this happens automatically. We don't have to go ahead and then do the run command. It will happen on its own. That is the beauty of Cypress. Cypress also has a default framework of Mocha. So there are different frameworks which are there in JavaScript. So it is using the default framework of Mocha. Then whatever execution is happening throughout your entire test suite, entire thing is captured as a video, and its folder storage path will be saved at a default location that you can see within the settings. Once I show you how the Cypress is opened and how it looks like, there is a settings section where you can go ahead and also look at the folder storage path where exactly it's getting saved. And by the way, we can do configuration of many of the settings inside Cypress, so it's very customizable as well. It also supports automatic scrolling. So as the execution is happening, you don't have to keep scrolling down on your browser. It will happen on its own, and you can look at what's happening on the left hand side with the logs and the steps, and on the right hand side you can see the UI execution happening real time. So it's very good to have that feature. Its execution speed is much faster, as we have discussed, because of the direct interaction with the browser and the user without any intermediate component involved. So its execution speed is much faster. So this was all about the Cypress features in a nutshell, which are very key features we wanted to discuss. Let's get started onto the next part. So I would like to discuss about certain advantages or pros of using Cypress. Okay, it is very powerful because it will give you a complete end-to-end testing kind of a platform, and whatever changes we have done to our suite, right, it will trigger our execution automatically. We don't have to worry about going ahead and explicitly doing it. So it saves our time. Another thing is that you can also try to configure which one you want to execute, which one you don't want to execute. So let's say you may have a concern in your mind that, oh, why do we need to simply unnecessarily run all our test cases in the automation suite? Why can't we just run a particular one? We can do that. There is a flexibility given by Cypress. So we have annotations like how we have in TestNG, like. So similarly, we have some annotations which we can use in Cypress, which we can tell which to run, which not to run, which to ignore. All those things are there, so we don't have to worry. It gives us a very intuitive UI dashboard with very useful features like it will show you logs, it will show you screenshots, videos. It will also show you how and what all are the different test cases in a test suite. So it's very easy to see and understand, and easy to use as well, right? So most of the times, what we have seen is that even the automation tools are very good and popular, but they are not that easy to use. But Cypress, on the other hand, is very easy to use. We will be able to identify and find out where exactly are the issues. If you want to do debugging, it will give us a stack trace, and using that information, we will be able to fix the issue from our side. So that's a very important feature they have given. We can perform UI testing, API testing using Cypress for any kind of a UI technology being used by the developers to build web application, be it JavaScript like React.js, Node.js, or be it like a Java platform, .NET. It can be used for any kind of a web application being built. Okay. Setting up Cypress is not that complicated. It is very easy. And you would see, like when we cover the installation part, you would see how easy it is. It is easy because all the libraries and dependencies are defined in the package.json file. Okay, and using that, it's similar to what we call a pom.xml inside a Maven project, right? It's similar to that, but this is for JavaScript. We are using package.json file. So all the libraries, dependencies, what we require, we will be mentioning inside this file, and that will make our installation also happen with some commands in the terminal prompt. And as we discussed, debugging is much easier with Cypress because we get to know exactly where is the failure, and we can go into our specification file and make the necessary changes. Okay, so let's go to the cons part. These are the different disadvantages of using Cypress. Okay, so it doesn't support some browsers like Safari and IE. Okay, and there are certain events which are also not supported in Cypress, like which may be supported in Selenium. Like you can scroll up the page, down the page, you can hover on a particular area in case of Selenium. Also, we can do file upload using some external tool like AutoIT, right? But these are not supported in Cypress. Okay, so that is some of the drawbacks which are not, something that Cypress would like to have. So they would definitely want to improve upon that. Then they also have the language supported only as JavaScript, so it doesn't support Python, C sharp, or whatever Java, other popular languages. So that's something again which has to get improved over a period of time in future. And execution of multiple tabs is not possible, and also they are not allowing certain automation to happen on mobile apps. So these are the different disadvantages which we can see using Cypress Automation Tool. Now, this is the last slide which you have in today's session, because this is just the introduction session on Cypress which we are having today. So you have certain prerequisites for using Cypress. Okay. The first prerequisite is that we are going to use JavaScript. And if you are new to JavaScript, I will leave a link for the same in my current video where you can look at how to get started with JavaScript. So for JavaScript, there is a prerequisite that if you want to run your JavaScript in any particular local environment, right, you need to have node.js installed, because node.js gives you a runtime environment in such a way that you will be able to run it in any particular environment, integrated development environment. And one of the popular integrated development environment for JavaScript which is supported is Visual Studio Code. Okay, so I have already given some videos in my JavaScript playlist, so please do watch that if you are completely new to JavaScript. If you are already an existing person, like existing developer or automation developer who knows JavaScript, then you can continue to watch my video. Okay, so you need to download node.js. So I'm going to show you all how to download that. So you need to go to this particular website, node.js org. Okay, and once you come to its download section, you will be able to see that for different operating systems, like for Mac, Windows, we have different installer. So for Windows, we have this MSI installer. We can go for MSI 64-bit. Similarly, for Mac operating system users, you can go for the different package which we can install. Okay. So this is the package for Mac, and this is the MSI installer for Windows. I already have downloaded, so I'm not going to go ahead and download it again for node.js. So just you need to follow next commands by default. No need to do any customization here. And once node.js is installed, then we have to install another tool called Visual Studio Code. Again, choose as per your operating system, either Mac, Windows, or Linux, and go for the appropriate installer. Okay, like for Windows users, you can go for the system installer directly, and it's supported for 10.11. Fine. So once we have these prerequisites downloaded, right? What is the next step? We need to open Visual Studio Code and open a project folder path which we have created. Okay. So what we have to do is that we have to create a folder locally. So I have already created a project here. If you see, this particular project is already created. So what you have to do is you have to go to Visual Studio Code. Okay. Click on Open Folder. I'll show you that. And Then you need to select a workspace, like you need to select a folder whichever you want to open. Let's say I want to open JS workspace, so like that you need to select the folder and then click on select folder. Okay, so I'll do that for JS workspace, and you will be asked whether you want to do it in the same window or you want to attach it or as a separate window. So yeah, it's done it in a new window. Okay, that's fine. So once you open this particular project, let's follow the next steps which I mentioned. Then we need to install the Cypress using this command. So this is the first thing which you need to do. Once you've done these prerequisites, you need to run this command. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install Cypress, but already I have it, but still I'm showing you all for the demo purpose how it needs to be done. So I'm going to say npx Cypress install. Okay. So this is very introduction session where we are talking only about the Cypress features, comparison with respect to other tools. Okay. And we are not going to look at detailed thing in this particular video. So just a minute. NPM not being able to find the file. Okay, just a minute. So what I'll be doing is I'll try with npm init first and show you all what this command does. Yeah. So what we are doing now is we are initializing our package.json file. So this is the command. If you look at my presentation, npm init will create a JSON file. Okay. So what we have to do is we need to keep everything default. Don't select any value. Just hit enter. Hit enter for all the suggestions given. And if it asks you, is this okay? Say yes. So you can see that we have got a package.json file created. And this is like how our entire configuration is like supported. All the dependencies and everything are controlled. Similar to a pom.xml file in case of a Maven project, we have a package.json file in case of a JavaScript project. So we are going to use JavaScript. And this is a JSON file which is used for configuration purpose. Okay. Now let's give it a try on the npx Cypress install. I already have installed, but let's give it a try one more time. It gives an error, it's okay, but for you it will not give error because for me it's already present. Let's give it a try anyway. So it's not working, but it's fine. We already have Cypress installed, and I'll show you in the next command. Now if I type this particular command, nps npm install Cypress hyphen hyphen save hyphen dev, what this is going to do is it is going to install Cypress locally within my package.json. Means I will have a dependency automatically added with Cypress. So let's enter that. And you can see that it is starting to install Cypress inside my package.json. So this is the only part which we are going to see in today's session. Just getting our project ready and just starting with the necessary important things. So you can see that node.underscore modules has different packages which are present. All these are packages. Okay. And we are installing this Cypress package now and also ensuring with this hyphen hyphen save dev that it adds a dependencies JSON object within our package.json file. So allow this to complete. And we will look at the next command onwards within our Cypress in the next session. So we'll just allow this to complete. Yes. So we have seen now that dev dependencies new JSON object is added and Cypress with this version is installed. Now what this arrow marks means is that it will keep always up to date. This particular arrow mark means it will keep always up to date. Whatever version we have, it will keep upgrading, and whenever there is a new version available in the market, it will keep upgrading it automatically. So we don't have to take worry about this part. If you don't give this arrow mark, then it will not do auto upgrade. You will have to again change the version, or you'll have to again do npm install like that. So let's say whenever you do any changes to any version, let's say I made it 6.7 in future, then we need to write npm install. So that way this dependency will get updated and the respective libraries inside this node modules will get updated. So that is how we have to do updation in JavaScript. Okay. For now, we already have this version present, so it's fine. So in the next session, what we are going to see is how we can get started with Cypress. And also I have faced a particular issue, and I'll also prepare a video on how, if any user faces a particular issue with Cypress tool, right? How do we resolve that? Also, I'll show that. So stay tuned for my next video. Thank you so much, everyone. And please do subscribe to my channel if you've not done yet. Thank you.